Hello, C3 students. This is Chinte. Let's go on a walk. So the type of things that I'll get on a walk would be something like sticks or weeds or maybe like some acorns or something that have fallen off the trees on the trail. I never take anything from anybody's yard, and any beautiful flowers that I see, I usually just take a picture of and move on. One of my neighbors has the most beautiful flowers in her yard, but they're in someone's yard. So I take a picture and move on. She does have some flowers that have fallen on the ground that might be okay for me to pick up, but I don't want to risk it. They're not mine, so I leave them. What'd you find? What'd you find? All right, I've got our found things set up next to me. Let's start painting. So what we'll be learning today is the different ways that we can use our brush to make different shapes. All right, I'm gonna start with the cheeseweed. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to start in the middle and not push very hard, but then I'm gonna start slowly pushing more as I go up until I'm pushing, and then I'm gonna stop moving and pick my brush straight up. And it'll look like that. So I'm gonna do that a few more times. The goal is to make this shape. And then I can move this water around and make it better. It didn't work every time. I can clean up the edges and make some parts a little thicker. And any parts that I feel like need to be lighter while the paint is still wet, I can take a drier brush, so I wipe all the water off, and then I can just kind of push it down and pick up some of the paint. The next leaf is a musky stork's bill. It's kind of the opposite of the one we just did because it's big at the bottom and then skinny at the top. So the brush stroke for this one is going to be a little different. It's going to be the opposite. We're going to push down first and then slowly pick it up. And then to get those frayed edges, we're just going to pull the paint out like this. Next one up is the common daisy. This one is going to stay really small, so you don't want to put a lot of pressure on it. You're going to do no pressure, little tiny bit of pressure, and then come back up slowly. The next found thing we're going to paint is the white clover. You're going to do a circle like this, but here's how you're going to do it. When you're here, you're going to put a little pressure, but when you're here, you're going to put a lot of pressure, and then when you're here, you're going to put a little pressure again. So we start off with a little pressure and then do a lot, and we go around and then slowly pick it back up, and we end up with that. And for the flower, what you're gonna do is you're just gonna do quick, like tally marks almost, just kind of a quick flick of the wrist. And you're gonna want them to go in like this first, and then you'll want them to go out like this. All right, for this Oregon white oak, we're gonna get a little sloppy. So what I would do is draw this center line of the leaf and then push the whole time and pick straight up until you get the shape of each part of the leaf that you want. For the Coast Redwood branch, we're going to use the same type of strokes that we used for this one, for the clover. Just these quick sort of flicking, pulling strokes. And I'm going to do them straight off of the branch. For the walnut, I'm going to do a couple C strokes. You start off light and then push hard and then pick up in a C shape. Okay, let's move on to the Redwoods pine cone. I'm actually going to put it over here. All I'm going to do for this pine cone, I'm going to do a light color for the basic shape of the pine cone by pushing down my brush and picking it up like we did over here, until I get kind of the right shape. And then I'm going to add the darker colors in sideways and stacked on each other. Last, we have the magnolia pod. So what I'm gonna end up doing is I'm gonna be taking green and doing these kind of strokes that we did over here. So no pressure, some pressure, and then kind of picking it up so that we get this shape. And then next to it, I'm going to do another one upside down, but in a darker color. So no pressure, pressure, and then picking it up. And I'll do that over and over again in the shape of the pod. And there you have it, all of our found things.